Hi vibes everybody. I just wanted to get on here today and make a quick video about letting go of past attachments. And before I get into it and everything, I want to go ahead and give, just some examples and a brief definition of what an attachment is. And I looked up on Google just so that you can get a general idea. An attachment is a part or an extension of something that is or can be attached to perform a particular function. So even with that, you see it's something that is already or can be put on you. So it's this energy that can be within you, or it can be something that somebody put within you, but it is still all that energy that is coming and actually having those effects on you. And then it says to perform a particular function. So then you have to think about, what are these attachments doing? What is their function? What is their particular function? Attachment can be anything from an attachment to a certain idea, an attachment to a certain mentality, attachment to a person or an object, fondness, attachment to your experiences, attachment to pretty much, everything around you in this physical reality is an attachment, because, you know, you're not really a part of all this, but you are. So you want to make sure that you realize how these different attachments are affecting you, because there could be positive attachments and there could also be those negative attachments. The positive attachments, as say you're becoming more connected with your spirit family. Shout out to RTM, but you could becoming more connected with your spirit family. You're becoming more connected, with spirit. You become more connected with your daily practices and rituals and whatever else you're doing. So those can be positive attachments, and some negative attachments could be, it could be a boyfriend or girlfriend or a loved one that's always draining your energy and always just bringing that negative energy onto you and putting that negative attachment onto you. So that's one example. Negative attachments could be to a certain way of thinking. Like, you could be thinking, let's just say, how to do something at your job, and you have to actually do a certain function, and you're so set on one particular way to do it that you can't see the other ways that could possibly do it, because now you have that attachment to that way of doing things, and now it has become a negative attachment because you can't see the different possibilities to try out different things. So that's actually something that's hindering you. When I say negative, I'm not saying like necessarily good or bad, because some negative attachments can help you grow, but you got to still be able to get rid of them. And that leads into the whole point of this video I wanted to make about actually letting go of those past attachments. So you want to make sure that when you're looking at these attachments that you have to this reality and to the people or situations or thoughts or mentalities or whatever it is, whatever you have those attachments to, you have to evaluate and see, are these good attachments? Are these bad attachments? Are these positive attachments, negative attachments? And then what are these attachments actually doing for me? Are they actually helping me grow on my path? Are they actually helping me to become that better person, become more connected with spirit, and be able to do all the things that not only you want to do, but all the things you want to do for your community, to do for the people around you, all the things that you can do. So you want to be able to evaluate how those attachments are actually affecting you. And once you start to do that, then the ones that are hindering you, you have to start letting them go. You can't be thinking about something that happened 5 years ago or 4 months ago or even yesterday. You have to be able to let all that go so that you can, move forward and actually, gain more knowledge and gain more momentum. And you will gain more of that love, that heart frequency, more able to put out that love frequency. Because once you start to be able to let all those different attachments go, you'll start to see like how your reality will change around you. You'll start to see more of the positive, or not even more of the positive. You might see some of the negative too, but you'll start to become more aware of these things because you're not attached to that certain viewpoint, that certain perspective. In that last video, how I made on perspective, you can check it out if you want to get a little bit more information on that. But you can see from, now that you've gotten rid of that, you do have that different perspective, and you can see, things in a different way. You can maneuver in a different way. You can act in a different way. You can think in a different way. You can do it on all 3 points of the Trinity: spirit, mind, and body. But you have to be able to realize that these attachments that you have, could possibly be holding you back, or they could be helping you grow. But that's for you to do your own inner search on, and actually, go within to see how these things are actually affecting you and what they're doing for you. Because when you start to deal with all these different attachments, it's going to bring up certain emotions. It's going to bring up different things, because of however deep the attachment goes. Because some attachments might be small, you could just, snap it right there and get rid of it. But some might go very deep. Some might have been embedded in you since pretty much you were born, So when you dealing with those, types of attachments that have been embedded really deeply within yourself, first you have to realize that, you're not your mind, you're not your body and everything. And a lot of these attachments are attachments to the mind and body. So they're not really attached to you. But you do have to get them off of that particular, part of yourself while you're here. You have to be able to let it go. But it is going to bring about different thoughts. It's going to bring about different emotions. It's going to take you to a place, where you were in that attachment, and you're going to have to be able to evaluate why you even have that attachment and get to the root cause of it. Because if you don't get to the root cause of it, you're not going to be able to solve your problem. You're not going to be able to get out of that situation and actually let go of that attachment. Because once you go into that, you'll start to see how that attachment has shaped your reality, how it's shaped what you've actually done. But you can't let that, get you back into that same mentality. You have to be the observer of it to look at it, but then not only observe, to take that action. Because if you don't start taking the action toward actually letting it go, spiritually, mentally, and physically, then you're not going to be able to see the results. You're not going to actually be able to let that go, fully and truly. So you want to make sure that you're remembering as you're doing this to not only observe it, but take action to let it go and actually let it go. And don't let anything about it, if it is one of those negative attachments that is holding you back, you don't want to have any remnants of it. You want to completely let it go. You won't even want to be like, oh, well, this part of it was good. It may have been that part of it helped you to grow, but you don't need that particular attachment anymore. Just because something helped you grow doesn't mean that you still need it right then. So you have to be able to see what circumstance you're actually in at the present moment, and be able to see if that is something that you actually need, or is it something that you can let go and fully let go in order to allow something new to come in. Because energy is not created or destroyed, it's only exchanged. So in order for you to get that new energy and you get that new information and to gain that new part of yourself, you're going to have to let something go. Because it's a never-ending cycle. There are those cycles, and that would be a pro cycle. As you let something go, you bring something new in, something to incorporate, something to grow from, something to actually raise up in vibration and learn from. So just remember that you can let go of all these things. You don't have to have them attached to you. You don't have to have these things weighing you down. You don't have to have these things keeping you from reaching your highest potential and your fullest potential that that you can reach. Because once you realize that all these attachments are holding you back and you actually start letting them go, you'll start to be able to gain that new perspective, that new information from it. It's going to be a whole new experience for you to learn and grow from. Because you're going to be constantly learning and growing as you're letting go of older things and bringing in the new. Because you don't want to keep all cycling through all those older things. Some of those things you might change, but you keep, and it changes as you grow to the present moment, into whatever situation you're in right then. But you don't want to have it to be to the point where you're holding on to something that happened so long ago that you're just so attached to, like, oh man, this was the one thing that helped me do all this, and now in the present moment it's actually holding you back. So if it's holding you back in that present moment, you have to be able to let it go. There may be a time where you come back to it, and it does help you in a different situation. But you have to realize when you're in the present moment what to let go, what to bring back, and whatever you need to do. And you have to be able to stay focused and disciplined on it. And that's another thing. When you're doing this, you have to make sure you maintain your focus, because as you do these things, the ego is going to come in and try to distract you. It's going to want you to actually dive so far into it that now you're in that same vibration and that same mentality and the same physicality that you were in when you were in that particular moment. When you're not in that moment anymore, you're in the present moment where you can make differences in the now. You can make changes in the now and not have to worry about all the stuff that happened before. So don't let the ego distract you. You have to recognize that the ego will, so that you can start to learn from the ego of how it operates, so that you can know how you should be operating. You want to make sure that you're operating for spirit. You're operating from your higher self. You're operating from that truth, that love, that love that doesn't want anything hurt, doesn't want to hurt anything, you know, it just wants it to be, it is what it is, and you'll be able to spread that out, so, and then, and from there, you'll be able to see newer things from actually letting go of those attachments. But that's pretty much all I wanted to get on here and talk about today is, making sure that, as you're going along on your path and your journey, or whatever you want to call it, that you see, what has helped you, what has not helped you, what is helping you, and what is not helping you in the present moment, because all of it ties in. And to make sure that you actually let go of the things that were holding you back in the past. And if you can actually let go of those things, then you'll start to see how much more you can accomplish, spiritually, mentally, and physically. But that's about all I want to talk about today. So, peace in and out, my full love, and my highest vibrations and my gratitude.